Let's sing a song full of hope, full of pain. Why don't you sing along, my friend? For it's our last refrain. Forever young, ever strong, ever brave. Memories like this never end. No, they don't fade away. So when I'm gone, oh, when I'm gone, I'll be right there, close to the sun. Keep holding on, keep holding on. And I'll be right there, close to the sun, close to the sun. Close to the sun. Here's to the ones who let shine through the rain, the ones who stood for something more. We won't forget your names. The tide is high, say goodbye, we're setting sail, and all those midnight secrets told, we'll take them to the grave. So when I'm gone, oh, when I'm gone, I'll be right there, close to the sun. Keep holding on, and I'll be right there, close to the sun, close to the sun. Close to the sun. So when I'm gone, oh, when I'm gone, I'll be right there, close to the sun. Keep holding on, and I'll be right there, close to the sun, close to the sun.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Icey Fandom Fellowship. Welcome to episode 13. Okay, I'm enough of that music. Okay, welcome to episode 13 of the Icey Lair podcast. Yellow White Rose, how you doing, ma'am? It has been a while. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone. We've got a few things to talk about. Something that definitely has made me kind of sick, but because it's part of one of the hobbies that I enjoy so much, and that is model railroading. And we've got a few other things to talk about to include the customer's always right, the fiasco of tapping with G4, and then Go Power Fett, which deals with the latest episode of the Book of Boba Fett. So strap in. This is going to be a wild, wild ride. But let's go ahead and start the fiasco. Oh, sorry to hear that, Yellow White Rose. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully I can help you escape a little bit with that lovely escapism. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Avery, welcome. Wing hugs. All the wing hugs. All the hugs. See, that's what I love about the Icey Fandom / Fellowship. You guys are just awesome. Yeah, hang in there, Yellow White Rose. There's always good in life, you know? Always remember the good things in life. And hopefully you had good memories with your grandmother, things to take away. And so let us begin the chaos. Let us begin the chaos. So we're going to take a little trip on Twitter to Chicago. And so going to got some Twitter posts here that was quite interesting. So I did a video on this on my Mythical Railroad channel, link down below, about the trash trains. This is my term that I'm kind of nicknaming for the fiasco that's happening right now in our supply chain, especially when it comes to railroading. Now, model railroading is one of my big pillars of escapism. That's why I have a channel dedicated to it. And seeing that this was happening to our trains out there, I had to do a video on that channel, and then I told everyone on that channel to come here because we're going to talk about the political implications of this and how just, we already have supply chain issues, and now we're going to just shoot ourselves in the foot by doing this type of stuff. So, yeah. Well, hopefully she went peacefully, Yellow White Rose. Hopefully it went peacefully, But take a look at this, guys. Take a look at this. Just the looting. I never thought that we would live in the modern era of the wild, wild west. You would think this would be something you would see in movies, the heist to get all the gold and the treasure from a train. And the fact that we're seeing it in modern time is crazy. And just take a look at this. There are several TVs, and this is in Chicago. Yeah, I did another Icy Rail news on my other channel about this, but I'm also going to recap it here and go in more detail into just more political aspects of this. Look at this. We're talking. If I can pause it here at the right time, look at this. There's like 1, 2, 3 TVs there, and there's another 4, 5, 6, 7. I missed the ones down here in my latest video. That is absurd. Exactly, Yellow Right Rose. There was a virtual rail fan. So if you guys don't know, there's a channel called Virtual Rail Fan where you can look at the cameras on certain trains that go through like popular areas. And so yeah, on some of these rail fanning locations and cameras, there was some open containers, and this is why. Just crazy and disgusting. And, oh, it gets worse. So that was in Chicago. This is in LA, Los Angeles, one of our main critical ports of the US on the western coast. And I like this meme right here is because in California, they're trying to publicly finance a bullet train on the west coast here. And it's epically failing. And this is the chaos of the trash, aka the trash train. That's what I've labeled it to. But this is one of Union Pacific's intermodal sections for the West. And just take a look at this. Boxes upon boxes of trash. I got to give credit to trains because they are just plowing through the trash. And just the engineering behind it. But look at this. We're talking food supplies. We're talking medical supplies. Amazon packages. Like nothing is safe. Look at that, a simple Amazon Prime thing. So Yellow Right Rose, I don't know if you're aware of this, but that is a particular spammer, that vote.ngo. You can go ahead and delete those guys or ban them. So I will go ahead and get this one. So I will remove that. So yeah, those guys are spammers. Silly bots thinking that they can do their thing. Silly bots. But yeah, all of these trash, and look at that, medical supplies. Exactly. Going off the rails like the crazy train. But graffiti, graffiti is was one of those things that, it's typical when it comes to railroading. Even model railroaders model this type of stuff, but the trash, and this guy was just commentating, even fishing supplies, like nothing is safe with this vandalism. Just ridiculous. And this guy does a very good job. So on Twitter, John Shirabeer, I cannot pronounce that. He goes into a whole bunch of detail. So I recommend following him on Twitter if you want to know more about this. He's got a drone shots here. Oh man, it is crazy just how bad it is. And so he makes a very good point that I want to highlight here. And I didn't go too much into this on the Icy Rail news video, but this right here has a lot of implications. So John says it best here. Responsibility for policing the railroad right away falls on the Union Pacific Police, not the local agencies like LAPD. We did not see Union Pacific Police chasing two people today. Or we did see Union Pacific Police chasing two people today off the tracks and keeping an eye on things. So that is very important to think about because technically the rail lines are private property, which means that the railroads are responsible for the security of these rail lines. And so when you think about it, Union Pacific as a company and all these other railroading companies, BNSF, Norfolk Southern, CSX, they're all going to have to, in order to get these goods and not have to be reliable with insurance claims because of all this looting, they're going to obviously raise their prices of shipping the goods because now they have to account security of the asset to get from point A to point B. So you guys have to think about who's going to pay for that when Union Pacific starts raising their shipping costs. We are as the consumer. And it's already bad enough that we're having logistical nightmares in our country, in the United States. And it's already getting crazy with supplies and inflation and all that. Now you got to start adding the cost of securing the goods through the heartlands of these states like California, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, and transcontinental lines and so forth. And the fact that Union Pacific now has to really step up their game to prevent stuff like this, this is going to drive up costs. And not only that, as a producer, we're going to see this on the producer's end because now we got to figure out exactly who's going to pay for all this damages. If it's going to be Union Pacific, we're going to see the raise of cost of shipping, which means the producer is going to have to raise more in their prices, which means at the end of the day, we're going to see a couple of dollars, maybe tens of dollars, maybe hundreds of dollars of our natural goods going up in cost. And it's bad enough that we got inflation to deal with. Now we have to deal with, is it even going to make it to destination A, B, or C? And even in the U.S., even in my local areas, it's getting scarce for supplies. Like I was going through the toy aisle today, just looking for some content for the Endless Collectibles channel, and the shelves were absolutely empty at my local Walmart. It is crazy the supply and chain issues we're having. And now on top of this, we're having to deal with thugs and, these desperate folks just stealing. It is the new wild, wild west. One that I thought I would never see. And then he goes into more detail of the legalities. But if you want the full-blown issues, I recommend following that individual. He's doing a great documentary on all of the issues there. But it is crazy, the new Wild West that we have going on. So it's scary too because, someone's going to have to pay for it. And it's like we as the customer are going to pay for that. So yeah, absolutely ridiculous. And like I said, over on the Mythical Railroad channel, I did an Icy News on that particular situation. So that's more of the highlights. So speaking about the customer, so in business, if you want to make money, you are dependent on the customer because the customer has two vital currencies that every business needs to survive, and that is time and that is money. So there's always a saying, the customer is always right. That's why I always thank you guys, because you spend your valuable currency listening to me just complain and whine and just talk. And I appreciate you guys being here. I really do. But the customer is always right. You know, you do everything you can to please the customer. This is why Amazon has done so well, because one of the things that they do is that if the customer, again, from my experience and from other experiences that I've heard across the internet, through my colleagues, through my friends, family, is that Amazon tries to satisfy the customer. So if they don't get their item, they try to reimburse them and so forth, because you want to have that customer coming back. And so when you say things to attack the customer, especially when they have the time and they have the money, and you attack that and try to preach to them, to us, what to do and not to do, you know, we just have the power of choice to say no. If you want to preach, if you want to degrade us, then we're just going to give you the middle finger and we're just going to slightly go away. It's that silent customer, the ones that you're never going to get back. And then, oh, by the way, you've also got the power of voice. You know, the voice marketing. That person's going to go to other people, to other friends, other family. And now that one person may go talk to a friend, a family member, may talk to 10 other people, you know, and you can see that word of mouth can exponentially go out of control. And we're seeing that in several places right now. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go into bounding into comics. So I love bounding into comics. They do a great job of journalism, and it's usually my place to go to give you guys articles and just generally talk about what's going on. So normally I have a rule where I usually don't attack fellow content creators, because I firmly believe that if you attack or go after another content creator, you know, you're sharing audiences. But the thing is, when you violate my number one rule of never attacking the customer, I think it's fair game at that point. And this is exactly what G4 TV did. So apparently they came back from hiatus. I don't know the full story behind them. But this particular individual went on one hell of a rant to attacking their customers, attacking the viewership, and trying to preach to them. Again, I don't go into politics, but here's the thing about politics is that normally you're going to have a friend that leans on one side or the other when it comes to any political issue. But at the end of the day, I welcome everyone, because having a conversation and a discussion is what helps the human being understand what's going on from all different perspectives, to see the bigger things that you may not be thinking of, because we are cognitively biased in our own thinking, the way we've grown up, to our experiences, to our expertise, and so forth. And so when you degrade the completely opposite side of any type of argument or debate or political spectrum, whatever, then you're being naive and you're not, you know, understanding the full picture. And I go back to what George Washington did, because he always had a cabinet members of people who did not agree with him, because George Washington wanted those people in his cabinet so that way he can get the full picture. He wanted people to disagree. He didn't want a cabinet full of yes men, women, whatever. And so when this video came out, oh my goodness, it was bad to say the least. So G-Force hosts Indiana Black claims viewers are unconsciously biased against her because she is not as bangable as previous host. Now, here is the reality of entertainment, okay? Here's the reality of entertainment. You can agree, you can disagree. But there's a simple notion that sex sells. I hate it, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. According to G-Force X-Play and Boosted host Indiana Black, the various instances of pushback and disagreement she has received during her time on the network are not only the result of sexism in gaming, but also, she herself put it, the apparent fact that she is not as bangable as previous hosts. You want to talk about some insecurities? That's one way of doing it. She's already attacking the fan base because she's getting feedback that she's not being liked because of her statue. It's like, if you're a brand new host, you need to gain that trust with the audience. What do you have to say about the video games? Because apparently G4 is supposed to be about gaming and so forth. You know, there are people out there that not only look at sexism, or not necessarily sexism, but beauty as a factor of attractiveness. You know, it's all about potentially personality, presentation, and so forth. This particular person sorry about that. My cat was slightly dying. Anyways, she went straight to the whole sexism thing. And it's like, that's not how you win an audience over. It's pretty disgusting. Black voiced her thoughts on a recent episode of X-Play doing a segment titled The Airing of Gaming Grievances, in which the show host Black Gerard, the completionist Kali, and Corey the Black Hawkage, Smallwood, the Adam Sessler. Okay. We're given an opportunity to do just that. Though she opened the segment with a minute-long discussion on particular grievance against Rockstar's seeming oblivions in introducing the new quality content, the Red Dead Redemption 2 online mode, Black soon revealed to viewers that she actually wanted to talk about something such more important than Red Dead Online, sexism in gaming. Oh boy, where do I even start with this? This is a big topic when it comes to the whole concept of sexism in gaming. So here's the thing. We want escapism from reality. So gaming is just one of those mediums that allows us to be free of ourselves in the real world. I do not want to be trade, things in the real world in the virtual world. I want to do things that I can't normally do in the real world. And so, many people have those sexy characters. It's because that allows them to feel good, allows them to escape, allows them to do things that they can't typically do. And so the whole sexism in gaming argument is BS. Because these games allow us to escape. They allow us to be free. They allow us to do so many things that we can't do IRL. And so if you want to portray your ideas into these games, I think it's wrong. Let me see if I can find a particular video here, because I know they've got it. And that goes back to like the whole video gaming is violence, that video gaming causes mass shootings and so forth. And the reality of it is that if you're an adult wanting escapism, you're going to be able to separate real life from fantasy. And it's like, if you're over the age of 21, do whatever you want with these games. So long as it's not illegal in the real world. See if I can find the particular section here. Let's see.
Absolutely do. But it'll always be in varying degrees and take a whole team behind us. That's why we're X-Play and not Adam Play. We have done the experiment and controlled for the variable.
That clapping, though. That clapping like a walrus. That's all I gotta say on that one.
Other half of the script for, but I'll be the one flamed. And yeah, it also happens to Gerard and TBH, but that doesn't discount the sexism of how it happens to me when it does. Both things can be true, that there is a general hatred of any change that isn't on former writers that are now on ATOS like Vanessa. When you're in our DMs or on those YouTube comments or in Twitch chat right now, those reactionary threads thinking that I'm somehow ruining your current X-Play experience because you can't objectify me how you previously did to Morgan, or that I'm somehow less qualified to speak on something, but
Just notice her attitude, her voice, her tone. It's very demeaning. She's yelling at the audience. Very authoritative like the concept that, oh, people don't like me because I'm not this sexy host that I replaced. The fact of the matter is, you've got to win that audience over.
you can't quite put your finger on why, even though I'm reading the exact same script as Adam, but you have no problem with he's part of it. You're letting your unconscious biases ruin my day, and you're gatekeeping the gaming space.
Ruining my day. Notice the first person. My day. Like, you are a host of a show portraying your thoughts about the gaming industry. And now you're using your voice as a platform to tell us what we can and cannot do.
So maybe for 2022, we be a bit nicer, a bit more self-reflective, and we enjoy the fact that people are working hard to make free content for you.
Yikes. So again, yeah, it may be free content, but at the end of the day, you need to understand why you're doing it. It feels like for me that this comes as that, you know, that this is like a job. It's like, I do this as a hobby. I do this to have fun, first and foremost. If I'm not having fun, then I'm not going to create for you guys. But that's not the whole point. It's because I want to address these issues. And that's why I have multiple channels. Because I want to promote escapism. The After Dark is to be in this culture war that all of these other famous YouTubers are getting into. But then also with the After Dark channel, I want to showcase all the good escapism that's out there. That's why manga is such a dominant content thing for me here on this channel, is because I want to help you guys find good escapism and open up your eyes a little bit to, you know, there's so much out there. You know, you just got to dive into it a little bit. But again, that's your choice. I'm just trying to help, you know, steer you guys wherever may interest you. It's just for me right now, freaking manga is so good right now. But that's why I have like model railroading, because I'm also passionate about that. Eventually I'll get my gaming channel back up and going. I've just been really busy. But the fact that she says free content, it's like, are you there to promote escapism and talk about the video games and inform your audience? Or are you there just using it as a platform and as a job and being all corporatized? So, yeah. Ah, Tucson, Arizona. Interesting. Yeah, it's crazy with the whole open containers thing. That's the modern day Wild Wild West. Wild Wild West. I mean, it just blows my mind. And I feel sorry for Union Pacific and all these other shipping companies, because like now you gotta make insurance claims, and now you're going to have to probably pay a higher premium because now you know you don't have enough security to maintain the trains, and you know that's going to come out of our pocket eventually. Only a matter of time.
If you don't like it, don't watch it. Peace.
If you don't like it, don't watch it. Wow. Where have we heard that one before? Where have we heard this before? Shoutouts to Comics Division. I'm borrowing his video here, so please subscribe to Comics Division. He is an awesome dude on Friday Night Tights. But I wonder where we heard this from.
If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book.
If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. If you don't like the videos, don't watch it. And guess what's happening to the comic industry versus manga? Manga is killing the U.S. Comics in the United States. And even today, I went to Barnes & Noble to buy some more manga. I went on manga shopping spree, but I got a lot of good deals too. And guess which section in Barnes & Noble was packed? That had an entire wall filled. That was manga, hands down. And matter of fact, I was able to talk to a few people because they were trying to find Chainsaw Man. It's like, oh, Chainsaw Man's right here. And we got into a conversation of how good Chainsaw Man was. Spoiler alert for the Chainsaw Man podcast I'm going to do in February for the Mangaverse podcast. But, oh my goodness, this is just ridiculous. If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Like, that is absurd. That is crazy. What happened to treating the customer with respect like a king because they have the power? That's why the customer is always right. Because in business, we have time and we have money. We are the customer. And if you want to alienate those customers, you go out of business. Last I checked on YouTube, this had a ratio of like 19,000 dislikes to like 6,000 likes. It was ridiculous. I need to get the plugin for I've just been seeing snapshots on Twitter, but. And the thing is, the silent viewer will just leave. They've been seeing a lot of subscribers leave. And it's just, and that's why it's like, even on the political spectrum, and this individual, I think it's Indiana was her name. She goes on Twitter and says, F all the Trump supporters and so forth. And, and really bad things about Trump supporters. You have to realize that because of how polarized politics are, the minute you bash any side, even if you bash Biden, bash Obama, you need to realize that that is still customers that you need regardless of which side you're on. Regardless. That's why a lot of people don't talk about politics. I try not to. And I welcome anyone from either side. From any side. I welcome them with wide wing hugs, Because I'm here to discuss, and I'm here just to talk, and I'm here just to figure out what is going on. And part of it, too, is escapism and calling things out. It's time that's why this After Dark channel was created, because I needed to find my own voice in all this. And so, I've been experimenting, been testing some things. I've been testing with certain podcasts. Like, this is a derivative form from Derailed Conversations that I used to do. Yellow Right Rose will remember that name. So tried Derailed Conversations. It wasn't really a thing for me. And so the Icey Lair podcast then kind of formed after that. And it's like, if you guys are also welcome to join the show too. Join on Discord. I think there's a Discord link down below. And then I'll bring you guys into the Icey Lair podcast on Discord. And then we can talk about these things. So it is always open. And you just have to remind me, if you are in the general voice area, to just let me know. But but yeah, it is so crazy. As golfers, Derailed Conversation, because when I was looking to do a podcast, that was an idea that good old Willy Wonka came up for it. So, good old Derailed Conversations. But Yeah, this is crazy, guys. Oof. This is like saying, and the common analogy is like a deli store. You know, you got this mom and pop deli store that this guy wants to order like a certain particular cheese, but then the guy that's selling him said cheese, the butcher or whatever, the deli market person, says that no, you probably want Swiss. It's like, no, I really want pepper jack. And he says, no, 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 no. Here, I'll sell you the Swiss, but that's not what I want. And then, you know, you buy the Swiss, but then after that he says, well, you're a racist because you don't like, you know, pepper jack that comes from X, Y, and Z country. It's like, see, this is what's ridiculous. I know it's an extreme circumstance, but it's like, you know, you as a customer, you're never going to go back because you felt alienated. And this is exactly what's happening here. Don't like my politics. Don't buy my book. That's why the comic industry is failing. And that's why G4 now is going to pay a very hefty price now because they've got this glorious studio in LA. So it's like, how are they paying the bills? Because, you know, technically they're part of Comcast, but Comcast is going to see what they're doing. And then, and then, you know, that's how programs get axed or sold. Someone's a fan of pepper jack. I love pepper jack. I always get on my Subway subs. Pepper jack's so good. Very, very good. But when I heard this, it is just bad. And then this gets even worse. So, you know, these late night television shows, they're doing a lot of things for, you know, the vaccine and everything. And again, I am not a medical doctor by any stretch of the imagination, so don't get mad at me, YouTube. These guys, G4 TV, their next episode after this one that they had, oh man, they were promoting it left and right. It was disgusting. It was cringe. And it's like, this is not the escapism that I want. You know, people wonder why Friday Night Tights, why EFAP, Every Frame of Pause, and all these other podcasts are doing so well. That's in the sphere of the fellowship that was derived from the fandom menace from Star Wars. It's because they are raw and they are just laid back and to the point. But there's also different flavors of that. Like I've said in my Icey Awards for 2021 for the podcast, you can have those very niche and fine-tuned podcasts like Every Frame of Pause and be very structured and formal. Or you can have the laid back one of the guys with Friday Night Tights. Escapism is everything now more than ever. And when you tell the customer to F off because they have a different viewpoint, or if you want to lecture the audience, that's where I have a big problem, is because the customer is always right. And the customer has the power of choice. The choice and the power. The power to make choices. It's very, very strong, and one not to take for granted, like we're seeing with these two individual people here. It is crazy and disgusting. It's like, I cannot believe that. And that's why on this channel, you know, if you guys have a particular like manga book that you absolutely like and have recommendations or even TV shows to recommend, I'm going to do my best to actually watch those. Because you being here and you making those recommendations, you know, that takes time out of you to give me those recommendations. And sure, let's look into it. And so, like, there's been a couple people that have suggested a lot of good manga, and I've been trying to get every single one of them and review them on this channel. A lot of people recommended watching Arcane. And so I watched it. You know, I took my time out, and my God, Arcane was so freaking good. It is my staple, my template, my standard for storytelling now. And today, Every Frame of Pause actually did a podcast about what makes a good story. And I'm going to do a video response to that because I think it's actually very important to define, especially for me as a person who enjoys manga and enjoys good stories. I want to start defining what I look at in critiquing those mangas when it comes to storytelling and so forth. So that's something I need to. Yes, Cobra Kai. Yep. Cobra Kai has been one big thing. I've seen a lot of people recommend that, and I need to get into that. The problem is there's a lot of time I got to invest into that, and so I've got to plan it out. I'm going to start with the original Karate Kids. Like I need to start there first, and then I'll get into all 4 seasons of Cobra Kai. It is on the to-do list. It's just that one's going to take a little bit more time to get through, so I can actually firmly understand the world, understand the characters. But yes, Cobra Kai is definitely one that I'm going to do. I just have to time manage it a little bit. So yes, Avery, and I think you said that last stream too. I will get into that. Yep, for sure. I've been kind of sidetracked though because I got into Cowboy Bebop, the animated series. So I've been binge watching Cowboy Bebop. I've been loving it. I've been loving Cowboy Bebop, the animated series. Now we're gonna get a little bit on a. Let's see, let me go to Rotten Tomatoes just to see what scores they got on there. Because like I was looking for something to watch. And really, it depends on my mood and how much time I have. And so it's like I wanted to get another anime fix, like I did with Arcane. And it's like, you know what? Screw it. Let's watch some Cowboy Bebop and see what it's all about. Man, I am hooked on that thing. I am hooked on that show. Let's see here. It's basically a sci-fi western, it's really cool. Cowboy, and definitely not the live adaptation. Like I'm not even gonna waste my time on it. Let's see, that's definitely not the one that I want. Let's see, I want the animated. Give me the animated. 1998. Man, that's an old show. All right, so. Okay, so what is the difference between manga and a graphic novel? So, to my best ability, what I will, in my own words, so a graphic novel, think of it as, with the word graphic. So it is all colored. The texture of the pages is different. It is purely a colored, like much more colored version of a comic. So a comic has it's all colored and everything, and it's smaller in story. But graphic novel can go into hundreds of pages, and it's a little bit more expensive. And it's typically more American stories. Manga comes from Japan, and it's all black and white. But for me, I like the black and whiteness because then the artist has to focus more on the drawing to really portray the story. And manga reads from right to left, whereas graphic novels typically go from left to right and a little bit bigger in size. I'll look up the actual definitions here in a second so we can actually have a clear cut of the difference. And mangas, I think, usually have like 200 to 300 pages per volume. So let me grab the definitions real quick here. So let me go ahead and so we have a baseline understanding. So graphic novel. All right, give me the definition, please. Graphic novel definition. Alright, so graphic novel is an American and British usage of a type of text combining words and images, essentially a comic, although the term mostly commonly refers to a complete story presented as a book rather than a periodical. And let's go ahead and I'll display this here. So comic versus graphic novel. So the term graphic novel is a continuous from the 1970s as the field of comic studies, and its first emerging, let's see here, debate, blah, blah, blah. In contrast, graphic novels is usually taken to mean a long comic narrative for mature audiences. So that's another thing too, is that, yeah, graphic novels are typically more on the mature side than like comics. Novel is usually taken to mean a long comic narrative for a mature audience, published in hardback or paper book and sold in bookstores, with serious literary themes and sophisticated artwork. Okay, so the one thing that I have been learning is that you need to go by what the artist says. So webcomics, the best way I can describe webcomics is that, okay, you got your normal books that you get published like Barnes and Nobles and so forth. And then you have like websites like Wattpad. Wattpad is basically those who want to create stories freely. Like, you know how, and another way to look at it too is that, you know, you got the movies that come in movie theaters, whereas you have the freelancers here on YouTube making, you know, their video form content here. And webcomic typically is the freelance version of manga and comics. And that's a loose interpretation of that. Yeah, it gets really complicated. It's just a category for a little bit more sophisticated book. So it really depends on what you're looking for when it comes to a story. So like I said here, graphic novel is typically, it's longer in narrative, so longer pages and story. So it's like if you want like and a comic book is more like a short story, whereas graphic novels, they can go into a little bit more lengthy story. And then manga, most of the manga stuff is usually in black and white. And they're good stories and go for multiple volumes. So, but like I said, they are black and white. But I enjoy mangas to death. And yeah, and graphic novels, it can go NSFW for sure. So yeah, going back to this comment about the webcomics. So the way I view webcomics is that it is basically a platform where freelancers can go on and publish their stuff. It's very similar to like Indiegogo, to Wattpad, to here on YouTube, to promote independent creators. And eventually, once it goes into the published realm, then it can potentially become like a manga and a graphic novel or a comic and so forth. Again, that's a loose interpretation. Some people on the webcomic may actually call it a manga, may call it a graphic novel, but it just depends. A lot of people use the terms interchangeably. So it's basically a different type of medium, different type of platform to basically tell a story. And that was one of the great things about the EFAP episode today. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, I will drop a link in the description here. But let's see, this will allow me to actually post it. Okay, so that link is to Every Frame a Pause. They did a great episode today that I was listening to about what do you love about storytelling. And they went into the weeds, like it was really good. And I'm going to do a video response to it because that's what we need. But no, very good question. Something that I haven't had to really like explain. So hopefully that clears the air a little bit. And it all depends on what you're looking for. Like if you want color graphics, then yeah, I would recommend probably going comics and going graphic novel. But if you want a good story, then I highly recommend potentially going into manga because manga has so many good stories. I'm not too much into the graphic novels, I'm into comics. There are plenty of other great YouTubers out there that go into much detail. I'm gonna focus 100% on manga because that's what I'm passionate about, and because one of my favorite animes of all time came from manga, which is Sailor Moon, and that got me into basically everything else. But But yeah, hopefully this helps, Yellow White Rose. That was a very good question. Very good question. And that's the thing about escapism. You just sometimes have to do the research and figure out what you are interested in. You know, what do you define storytelling? And what you enjoy about a good story. Because once you can identify, like, some of the things they identified on Every Fairy Pause is like, they enjoyed the characters, or they enjoyed the continuity of a story, the consistency of a story, the themes about a story. And then for me personally, which I'm kind of spoiling my own video, but the thing that makes a good story for me is the world, the environment, how immersive. So being immersed in a story is my biggest thing about it. And so, you know, when we talk about story, again, I'm really spoiling my video here, but I kind of want to talk about it because I'm kind of passionate about this topic. So when we talk about story, the way I kind of frame it, think of it as a house. You have the foundation, the concrete. You have the pillars, the supports, the walls, and then you have the roof. So for me, I look at storytelling and stories as a house. You've got that foundation. I define the foundation as the writing, the script work, the grammar, the language that, you know, a creator is going to present itself. And then the pillars, the things that built off of that foundation is characters, world building, plot, themes. And then the roof is basically the icing on the cake. How do you begin the story? How do you end the story? How do you create that middle section? Those are the things that I value in a storytelling. And of course, this is 100% subjective. And so when we look at stories that are really bad, such as, shout out to the master of TDS, Gothic Therapy. Highly recommend you guys watching that. All right, we'll go ahead and pause that. And then you get stories like the Book of Boba Fett. You talk about the WTF moments of what not to do with a story. You've got the Book of Boba Fett. Episode 3 was freaking ridiculous. Kind of spoilers, so if you don't want to, if you don't want to hear spoilers, then feel free to come back at a later time. But this is ridiculous. Look at this scene here, a chase scene. Look at these so-called speeders. It is, I know I can't really zoom in. I don't know if I can zoom in anymore here, but if you guys seen Twitter, like, what is this? Look at these jet skis. I feel like I'm watching an episode of the Jetsons. Just look how bright and out of place these jet bikes look. That's why I call it Go-Go Power Fett. Because it's like so many ripoffs of Power Rangers, which Power Rangers is infinitely better than this crap. The Jetsons, I've seen this as Boba Fett and the Jetsons. Like, what in the world is going on with Disney? We're on episode 3 of the Book of Boba Fett, and we're still stuck on Tatooine. I have given up on Star Wars. Especially after seeing this. First, they were trying to humanize the Tusken Raiders. Which from episode 2 and episode 5, Attack of the Clones and A New Hope, they are a very villainy tribe. And they tried to humanize them in 1 and 2. And I know The Mandalorian did that a little bit too, which was annoying. This is ridiculous. Again, we talk about the foundation of a story, good writing. This is beyond that. This is bad. I just can't anymore. I just can't. It's bad. Ugh. The Book of Boba Fett is just bad. I think we still have, what, 6 more episodes left? And we're still on Tatooine out of 3. If you want to be immersed into Star Wars, I highly recommend playing Star Wars The Old Republic. It's a free-to-play MMORPG that you can play a Boba Fett and actually be, or not play Boba Fett, Bounty Hunter, excuse me. You can play a Bounty Hunter class and actually get immersed into actually taking bounties, doing quests, and so forth. Heck, if you want a good story about bounty hunting, which should be the whole point of this Boba Fett series, watch Cowboy Bebop. It is just hilarious when it comes to being a bounty hunter. And watch the animated, not the live action one. Because I'm having way more fun watching Cowboy Bebop for the first time. Because, yeah, believe it or not, this show came out in 1998, and I haven't watched it till now. It wasn't until word of mouth was getting out that, yeah, watch the anime, don't watch the live action. It's like, okay, I'll give it a chance. And I'm having so much more fun. Like, when I think about Boba Fett, you would think we would see Slave One. We would see him taking bounties for this new fractured galaxy. You would think we would see him taking bounties from the New Republic, going after their reminiscences of the Empire, of the admirals that are out there. You'd think we would see that. That's what everyone wanted, because that is the foundation of a story. Is watching what, Yellow? Cowboy Bebop or Book of Boba Fett? And again, everyone has their taste. So if you like the Book of Boba Fett, have fun. It is clearly not for me because, my understanding of what I wanted to see was, Boba Fett doing bounty hunter things. Not trying to be a crime lord or be the next Godfather on Tatooine. But, so yeah, if you want a good comedy about bounty hunting, I really recommend Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy, yeah. It is good. I like the animated. And there was a manga that came out with it, and I tried to get my hands on it, but I didn't realize that the manga is actually more rare. And I only seen one copy of like all 3 volumes, and it went for like $250, and it's like, nope, I can't afford that. Sorry, guys. There are some manga that are just outside of my reach. And that's why I try to stay away from anime, because most of the anime that you see on like Netflix nowadays or Hulu, they were derived from manga or vice versa, that the manga was also created by the anime. So I prefer the manga format over anime. Crazy, icy take, I know. But my general rule is I will watch the anime once I'm done with all the volumes of the manga. So it's going to take me some time, unless I can't get the manga. And that's when I'll go to the anime form like Cowboy Bebop. So I'm already binge watching Cowboy. But I am having a fun time with Cowboy Bebop. So I love the characters. I love the world. I love the villains in this. They're unique. There were a lot of voice actors in here that came from Digimon, which I am absolutely like, oh, I recognize him from Digimon Season 1 and Season 2. So I am having a lot of fun with Cowboy Bebop. And that's the thing about escapism, and that's the thing about Hollywood that they need to understand. When you come out with these really bad movies, when you try to preach to us, if you try to shove down a narrative down our throats, we're simply just going to say no, And we're going to find something else to do with our time and with our money. And again, there's a famous quote that I love from Neurotic. Again, highly recommend subscribing to that channel too. Great dude. But our future entertainment is in the past. I believe that wholeheartedly now. Because I am looking at the past to see what I've missed growing up. Like Cowboy Bebop. Like Gundam Wing. DBZ. And I'm also getting into old school movies. I watched Matrix again because Matrix Resurrections was so bad. Resurrections was god awful. Didn't need it to happen. I need a cleanser. Oh yeah. That's awesome. And I know that there is a huge following of manga out there. There's a lot of us out there that love manga, love anime, and I want to build a fellowship and a fandom around that on this channel. That's why I'm going hardcore with the manga spotlights, because there's just some great freaking stories out there, and I want to expose that. So it's like, if you're looking for something to read, again, I'm biased towards manga. I'll eventually get into anime, do anime reviews, and I'm focusing on Beast Wars right now, but I've kind of slipped on that a little bit. And I'm just binge watching Cowboy Bebop. And I already looked down here. It's like, oh, look, there's the anime for Soul Eater. Well, I've just ordered Soul Eater Volume 1 just recently. I'll be getting that in, and I'll be doing a spotlight video on Soul Eater. And the same person who's doing Soul Eater, Fire Force, I've got the third one I'm reading. My goal is to read at least one volume book a night. And so I'll read it the night before I go to bed, and I'll do a video about it the next day. Now, sometimes I'll take a break to do other content like I'm in now. But currently I am reading, so my next manga spotlight is going to be about Black Torch. And I love Black Torch. That one and Chainsaw Man have the same trope. And I'm just hoping. So manga's interesting because so Yellow Right Rose. I am reading plenty of those as well. So in the manga world, you want to look for M-rated content. The issue with that, however, is that when you go to a bookstore, 9 times out of 10, M-rated manga are going to be in foil wrapping. There is a manga that I'm reading right now called Monster Girl. I think it's called Monster Girl. And the story is just crazy and insane, but it has some NSFW themes to it. So that's one that I could potentially recommend. There's plenty out there. There are plenty out there. Unfortunately, I will be talking about those in passing, like I'm doing right now with that particular manga. I can't necessarily do a spotlight video. So I can do M-rated. I did Goblin Slayer, which was M, and that had a ton of NSFW theme stuff in it. But as long as the cover is okay with Mama Susan on YouTube, then I can review it. The problem is there are a lot of manga out there that the covers will be like, yeah, no, you can't really even show the cover page of it. So I will only talk about it in passing, like Monster Girl. So I think it's Monster Girl. But and again, it also kind of depends on what you're looking for in an NSFW. So I'm trying to think. But yeah, there's definitely a story out there. But manga I'm starting to notice is starting to have a little bit of cannibalism when it comes to the themes. So what I mean about that, and I saw this heavily in the reincarnation tropes. Like, I got reincarnated as a sword. I got reincarnated as a slime. You know, I woke up in the digital world. I've been seeing a lot of themes and tropes like that, just flavored in a different way. And I'm hoping that's not going to be the trend. And from what I've seen, it's not from the same authors. That's my only concern about manga, is that several themes or plot stories are starting to be the same from one manga to another. Not often. I just find myself reading very similar to it. And that is the great thing about manga as a medium, is because you are able to give so much detail, not only from a scripted point and written point, but you can also see it from an illustrated point as well. Now, granted, again, it's in black and white, but I've read so much manga now that I'm okay with it. And yeah, and you're absolutely right. You get so much more detail if an author knows what they're doing. But here's the thing about manga too, is that not only do you got to have a good author, you got to have a good illustrator. Sometimes you have one person that can do both with manga, but a lot of times I see two different people when it comes to one particular manga volume. And the book that I'm reading now, the manga that I'm reading now, Bakuman, is a great story on how manga gets created. It's from the same author as Death Note. And Bakuman, and I kind of spoiled my video for the spotlight on this one, but Bakuman I like because it shows what it takes to be an author and also be an illustrator. And sometimes you can't be a great illustrator, and sometimes you need a good partner as a writer and a storyteller to do it. So it's great to see that perspective. And that's why you have so many volumes. I think the most popular one right now with over 100 volumes is One Piece. I do have volume 1 of One Piece that I will be reviewing. It's in the queue right now. So I'm going to spoil my next few videos, but since you guys are here and being such a great audience, I think this is definitely a record for the audience today. Greatly appreciate you guys, all the lurkers out there. Listen to me just be passionate about manga. So my cue is, I've got Black Torch Spotlight video coming out tomorrow. I want to try to get it out tomorrow. That's my plan. That could always change depending on IRL. The next one I'm going to send out is Bakuman. And then I think after that, I will be going into, I've got the latest one from Blue Period that I really kind of want to knock out. So that way I'm actually up to date with the series. It'll be the only series that I'm actually caught up with, because it's a relatively new manga. And I think, I'm not sure what I'm going to do after that. I just got Berserk Volume 1 today, so I think I'm going to do Berserk after that, because I have been hearing so much about Berserk. Like, even when I was in Barnes & Noble, everyone's saying, oh, where's Volume 1 of Berserk? Oh, where's the collector's edition of Berserk? Like, Berserk is ridiculous how much people talk about it. So I'm probably going to put that in the queue. I may actually do that after Bakuman and then do Blue Period next after that. Because I've just been hearing so much about Berserk. So. And here's the other thing about manga too. If you have a brick and mortar mom and pop bookstore, go to it. Because there's this little family-owned bookstore near my place, and I go there religiously. Because not a lot of people know that this bookstore is there and that they carry a ton of manga. And it's like, I'm able to get a whole bunch of volume 1s that, you know, typically Barnes & Noble or you can't get online because they're all sold out. It's where I got my Demon Slayer box collection. Because I think Demon Slayer was definitely the most popular manga I've heard anywhere. Like even normies in my workspace, the only anime or manga that they were talking about was Demon Slayer. So it's like, okay, this is a pretty big story when I'm hearing my colleagues and coworkers talk about manga that I need to invest in. And when they announced that the box set was coming out and I saw it at my local bookstore, I grabbed one immediately. Not only that, it was cheaper. It was about $30 cheaper than retail. I was super happy with that. So I was super happy with that. It's really the only manga that, it's actually the only manga collection that I have completed. So yeah, so I got Berserk. I'm trying to think what other ones that I got today. So I got Berserk today, Volume 1. I got there was a manga about Minecraft that I saw today. See, even you watched the Demon Slayer. I'm assuming you watched it, which means you saw the anime or the movie. Yeah. See, and that's the thing. Demon Slayer is just, and that's the thing. When we were in the pandemic, I mean, we're still technically in the pandemic now, but when we were in lockdown last year, Demon Slayer, the movie, was just crazy. A lot of people were discussing about it. It's like, what's Demon Slayer? Oh, Demon Slayer's an anime. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not really into anime per se. I will be once I get done with all these manga. Now I'm more aware. But as soon as I heard word that, hey, Demon Slayer is also a manga. Okay, I'm on board now. I'm really on board. So I got Volume 1. I did a review on it on his channel. And I was into it. I like the story of, you've got this sister who is possessed, and now you've got this warrior that needs to go on an adventure to try to save her sister while carrying her sister at the same time. That is just cool. And I got immersed into it really bad. Man, that makes me want to read Volume 2 now. But, yeah, I definitely. The series, yeah, okay, yeah, it's an anime as well. I believe it's on Netflix. But see, and that's the thing. This is why I do these shows. This is why I do a lot of the manga spotlights, because especially in like again, I don't want to say community, but in the YouTube sphere that I watch. So I watch a lot of Neurotic, Every Frame of Pause, Geeks and Gamers, for my information, for my storytelling, for the pop culture war that we're in right now, with the wokeness of society and pop culture. I want to dive into the good stories. I want to tell you guys about the good stories that are out there. And it's like, each one of those chat rooms was passionate about manga. And it's like, if you start asking people, what is your favorite manga? You can see how fast those chat rooms go. And I'm like trying to take all sorts of notes so that way I can talk about it here on this channel. This channel's main pillars is going to be about manga. I've even considered creating a manga dedicated channel. But I decided to keep that under the After Dark because I think it's more appropriate under the main section. Yes, I have seen Beastars. That one, oof, okay. How do I've seen all the anime because I was on a binge watch on Netflix just trying to find good stories. So Love, Death, and Robots. And then I went to, I'm actually rewatching Anusoku. Hang on. I need to go to my Netflix. I started to rewatch an anime. Okay, let's see here. Where is it? Agretasuku. Or Agretasuko. I can never... It's the little raccoon female show thing. Here, I'll quickly display it here. This guy, this show right here. Right next to Cowboy Bebop. So... So I've been rewatching that. Has Beastars got season 2? Oh no. Let me get off of Netflix. Is there a season 2 for Beastars? Oh boy, am I behind all of a sudden? Because I know there was a season 1, and last I heard that. See, this is when I know I'm doing something right on YouTube, when the bots come in. Yeah, I think we all need to watch. Okay, now you got me curious. Hang on. Do Beastars have a season 2? Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Beastars has a season 2. Okay. So here was my argument to Beastars. I liked it, but I didn't like the ending per se because I was heavily hooked on Legoshi and I can't remember what the rabbit's name is. I wanted them to hook up. Like, just fucking kiss, get together, have babies. I don't fucking care. Just fucking date. And the end of it just left me so dissatisfied with that. Like, it was a major cock tease. That was my biggest issue with season 1, but now I know there's a season 2, I need to watch that now. Crap. Oh, I know what I'm going to watch tonight. So, for the most part, I need to rewatch it again because now that I understand, like, now that I'm more self-aware of the meaning of storytelling and I've been exposed to it, I really need to watch season 1 again. That's probably what I need to do after I'm done with Cowboy Bebop. But yeah, I have seen all season 1 of Beastars. It's been a while, but I do like... I like the fact that it's characters and a story and a love story. And it feels like it's a Romeo and Juliet type of story. I guess is the best way to describe it. But I'm interested. But that's all for me watching season 1. But now I gotta watch season 2. And Beastars actually has a manga series too. I've been debating reading the manga for Beastars. It's one that I'm kind of up in the air because of the ending of season 1 really got to me. And so I'm I was hesitant on getting the manga. There's Beastars right there. So. Hi, Kuruma. And you've seen all of it. Man, we got a lot of Beastars fans in here. Okay, guys. I need to ask, you guys are the audience. You guys are my audience. Do you guys want me to do a spotlight video on Beastars the manga? If you guys want it, you know I'll do it for you guys. I've been debating. I've been 50-50 on it if I actually want to get into the manga version of Beastars. Because sometimes, and here's another thing too. From what I have learned from Sailor Moon, the manga and the anime can be different. Do season 2. It's good in your eyes. Okay. Oh, and Kuruma, so you see that message that says room dot whatever. If you see something like that too, you guys can delete it. So Yellow and Kuruma, you guys can start deleting those stupid things. That's when I know that we're doing something right on this podcast, when we start getting these popular bots in it. So, yeah. So feel free to use the Banhammer and nuke them from orbit. And I need to figure out how to get that off my screen on the OBS side so it doesn't appear, but okay. So it is clear to me that I have a lot of Beastar fans. So I'll tell you what, when I'm at the store next time for manga, I will go ahead and start reviewing Beastars for you guys. Let's I'll do that. It seems like I've got a lot more Beastar fans than I thought. So We shall do that. Yep, and I see the band hammer coming down. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys so much. I do appreciate it. So yes, I will get into the Beastar manga. It'll take a little bit of time for me to get a spotlight video out. I'm not gonna lie, because I think I actually want to finish season 2. And I think once I'm done with season 2, then man, I may actually go watch that tonight, knowing that, because like I do want more. But I will recommend something for you guys, since you guys really want me to get me back into Beastars. Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix is really freaking good. Love, Death, and Robots got me into the short story genre. Each episode being a different story, being a different art style. It is just pure gold. It is a diamond in the rough when it comes to Netflix. I highly, highly, highly recommend Love, Death, and Robots. They have 2 seasons, and another one that's very similar to that, that's more live action, is Black Mirror. Like, I need to actually get back into... I'm almost done with season 2 on Black Mirror. Okay, Yellow Red Rays, what's the name of it? Never heard of. What is the name of this so-called manga that no one's ever heard? Because if I haven't heard of it, then I'm going to take a snapshot of said comment and I'm going to do my research. Because if it's one thing that I want to be an expert in, I want to be an expert in manga. Hands down. I want to be that walking encyclopedia about everything manga. So now you have me wondering. I love this tangent that we went from the Book of Boba Fett just talking about, oh, Dragon Drive. Dragon Drive. One of the manga that I bought today was Volume 5 of Dragon Drive. I have 1, 2, 3, and 5 of Dragon Drive. I came very close to reviewing Volume 1, but I found Black Torch, and so Black Torch took the lead of Dragon Drive. So yes, I have a few mangas of those. So I will probably end up putting Dragon Drive higher on my list now. And I will save that comment so I can shout you out on the video. So I saw Dragon Drive. And it reminded me, because I thought, for a minute, I thought it was like Digimon style. I still have to get into it, but it looked interesting. And it's definitely an older manga for sure. So yes, I have heard of Dragon Drive, and I will put that higher on the priority list. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'll do... Man, I'm going to have to put manga in my title, because we've been talking manga forever. But see, that's the great thing about manga, is that we can just have a joyous time with it. For those of you who like manga, I'll go ahead and pitch this right now. For those of you that like manga, let me go to the channel here. I am doing a book club. I have a book club right on this channel, and it's called the Mangaverse. So, this guy right here, once a month, we're going to be doing a book club on manga called the Mangaverse. It is over StreamYards, and I'll have the link publicly to share. And the next one that we're going to be doing, is on Chainsaw Man. So kind of the rules of this book club with the Mangaverse podcast is that I will invite you guys onto the show. I'll do the StreamYard links as guests, and you guys can come on, and we can talk about the Chainsaw Man. And we can talk about anything that we want about it. And generally the rules that I have for this is that typically I try to do volume 1s of a particular manga series, ones that are decently popular and decently accessible. I mean, it's going to be a balance on it. And so if you guys want to join, you know, the great thing about manga too is that you could potentially get it digital, so it'll be a little bit more cheaper and a little bit more accessible. So this is going to be on Saturday, February 5th at 2 p.m. Pacific time. I will be hosting the Mangaverse, Chainsaw Man Volume 1, and then we can talk about it. And I can tell you what, I've already completed reading this book, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's the first trope of its type that I've read, and I'm starting to see it in other mangas after I read this one. But yeah, the Mangaverse. Really excited about that. Okay, you need to Chibisuki. I'm not familiar on the name. Here, let me educate myself here. Chibisuki. Oh, that's from Dragon Drive. Okay. Well, I will definitely be familiar with that name once I start reading it. Yeah, I'm excited for Dragon Drive. You're getting me excited for it, Yellow Right Rose. Very, very excited. So yeah, this for my particular content, like I said, manga is going to be a huge portion of it here on the After Dark channel. Gotcha. Name the dragon in Dragon Drive. And that's the thing, it's like, I'm a dragon. I'm an ice dragon. I love dragons. My favorite animal is a dragon. My favorite fancy animal is still a dragon. So you would think a manga with the name dragon in it, you think it'll have my attention. And it does now. There was another manga that you want to talk about dragons. There was a manga spotlight that I did. Where is it? Right here. And we're going to pause on this. This manga is freaking hilarious. It is a comedy fantasy manga where a dragon tries to find a house. Or tries to buy a house. He gets kicked out of his own nest because... Well, spoiler, a little bit of a spoiler alert. I'm going to try to be as general as possible about this. But basically the whole concept is you have a dragon that gets kicked out of his nest because he cannot safeguard the nest. And so he goes on a house hunting spree. Trust me, it's hilarious. It's just different. And if you guys want a link to that video, I'll share it. Share it here in the chat here. But with my spotlight videos, I try to say spoilers because I go into the manga. But probably one manga I recommend everyone reading. And it was my manga book of 2021. Is this guy right here. I Am a Cat Barista. Kind of just blew me away how good this manga was. Again, I'm not going to go too much into spoilers, but the whole concept of this is that you've got a bartender that tries to soothe the soul of a human being that's having a very tough day. And you start to see all these people just have tough days. And then by the end of it, you know, it's amazing that having, you know, a good drink or having a good coffee can lift your spirits. And this manga was just, it blew me away how good it was. It came out in November of last year, and I'm excited for Volume 2. And it's actually my most viewed video currently on the channel. So definitely appreciate everyone who's been watching. You guys just rock. I am a cat barista. And I'll copy this so you guys can reference that one as well. But see, and that's the thing about this channel is that I know a lot of us are trying to find escapism. I know a lot of us want to read a good story, to be lost in these worlds, to be in the footsteps of these characters. And Hollywood is not giving us that, especially Disney. Now, I'm not going to go into... I'm trying not to talk about Disney as much because they're usually one of my bigger segments for this podcast. But I'm going to talk about manga. Oh, it's really, really good. So it is expensive. I think it's either 15. You know what? I will be right back, guys. I will be right back. Okay, you guys actually gave me a really good idea. And this is something I should have been doing from the start. Okay. Bear with me as I get my camera set up here. Kind of doing this on the fly. Okay. Okay. We're going to start doing... I should do a new segment whenever you guys want to look at manga. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of the display capture. All right. Let's do this live. Hi. Okay. So here is I Am a Cat Barista. Let's see if I can get some light here. Maybe too much light. See if I can get this camera to adjust. Okay. So let's go ahead. All right, so for some people, the daily grind of city life is exhausting. Yet somewhere between the busy streets, there's a mysterious cat cafe that can only be found by weary souls. What's on the menu? A delicious drink, especially brewed for each customer by a cat barista. A real hand? Yeah. Yep, it's a real hand. This book, so it is rated T for teen. It is on the expensive side, but keep in mind, guys, manga has been increasing in price. This is something I've just noticed recently. Unfortunately, it's because of, one, inflation, and two, the pages that are made from this come from, I believe, Vietnam. And there is a shortage of this particular paper from manga. So prices have gone up. So normally it goes for, so in the past, mangas like this go for like $9. The new standard is 15 per volume. So I'm going to show you guys the illustration. Again, no spoilers per se, but I just want to show you the illustration. Okay. There is our cat barista. And then I want to show you guys these drinks. Okay. I'm going to try not to show the text because I don't want to spoil it. This is a good story. This is my favorite manga of 2021. Now, my favorite manga of all time is going to be Sailor Moon. That's just biased. But this one's easily a top favorite. Look at this. This illustration of the drinks, I'll show you this one right here. These illustrations. Are we back? Okay, I think we're back. Are we still alive? All right, 1, 2. Let's see. Okay, sorry about that, guys. My Streamlabs went crazy there for a second. Okay, so this was really good. My favorite of 2021. Another one that was kind of the underdog when it comes to manga is Blue Period. So this one doesn't have the greatest illustrations, but when it comes to the adventure of an underdog, when it comes to switching career fields, to doing something that you want to do something because you're passionate about it, this is a great manga, because this one talks about how a brainiac smart dude goes from the tech side of life to the art style of life. And he literally has to work hard to be a good artist. And what's cool about this is that the author has done the homework of explaining different techniques about art styles, from oil painting to canvas painting, charcoal painting, all that. And this one was one of those ones that I wasn't sure if I was going to continue reading. So I have a rule on this channel that I typically give a manga 3 volumes to really hook me into the story, into the characters, into the plot and everything. This one was the first one I considered not finishing reading, but by volume 3, it finally hooks me in. This is one of those mangas that you need to really keep reading into different volumes to really get hooked into it. So I really thoroughly enjoyed this one. Okay, and then we were talking about, this is a exclusive for the channel, because you guys up until now didn't know that I actually had this manga. And here it is. Dragon Drive 1. Dragon Drive 2. Dragon Drive 3. And then today I found 6. So I still got to buy 4 and 5. But considering how rare this manga is, and considering the price, it's got a tear in the back here. But I got it for $3. And it was like, yeah, we're gonna dive into it. So yeah, Yellow White Rose. It's very funny story that you should say that. So that's the chibi right there. Okay, I'm looking forward to reading these. Definitely looking forward to it. And like I said, I got Berserk today, which I'm excited for. You know what? Be right back. I'll show you guys some other haul. I'll show you some of the hauls I got today. I'll be right back. Okay. So, this is not technically the hauls, but it's kind of things that are upcoming. Okay, here's Black Torch. This will come out tomorrow on the Spotlight. Here is Chainsaw Man that I'll be doing for the next Mangaverse. Oof, Cardinal Sin. Mangaverse. Here's Volume 1 Berserk, which I definitely am excited for because I've heard so many good things about this. Definitely one I'm excited for. This one looked interesting. This one was only $5. It was on sale. I was like, you know what? This looks interesting. So this is called Dream Gold, Knights in the Dark City. And what really caught my eye was what this was all about. So in a world where technology and magic fuel the dream for riches, the Knights of the Dark City are sent out to find the hidden treasure that the world craves. Correct. I'm just gonna say that the clever rat of Higashi Street will join the Knights of their frantic hunt for wealth and for the ultimate prize, Dream Gold. All who search for the treasure search for Dream Gold, but this quest will only yield one winner. So that really caught my eye about the concept of technology and magic. When you mix those two together, if done correctly, can be a very good story. There's really one other story that's done this really well for me personally, and that's Warhammer 40k, because you had dark tech and dark magic coming together. So that one caught my eye, and it feels very steampunky, so I can't wait to dive into that one. Rosenblood, which is basically another vampire type story that caught my eye. I've heard a lot of people talking about this one, and this feels like a romantic comedy, the quintessential quartets. But it's been popular lately, so it's like, okay, I'll dive into it, see what it's all about, and do a video on that. This one I picked up because it sounded interesting, and it's done something that I haven't seen any manga really do. I've seen only one movie do this, but this is a manga about the human body, cells at work. And you look at the hat here, you got the white blood cell, and naturally, I think you guys can understand what she's going to be, red blood cell. And it's like when you look at it, it looks like you've got viruses, you got bacteria. I mean, I know is it sensitive? Yeah. Since we're in a pandemic, but a blood pumping job, and I'll leave it at that. See, cells. So this manga caught my eye. The Devil is a part-timer. I've been wanting this one for a while. I've been waiting to find the right price for it, and I was finally able to snatch this up. This is the one that I was talking about, Cube Arts. I am a huge fan of Minecraft. It's my second favorite game of all time behind Second Life. So when I found a manga about Minecraft, it's like, sold. I can't wait. Sevivamp. Again, it just looks unique. Kind of an interesting story. So this one caught my eye. And the only reason why this manga caught my eye is because of this character right here. I have seen this character in so many places. I've seen it in fan art. I've seen it in as a statue for sale. I've seen it in anime. The Overlord. It looked interesting. So I wanted to dive into this because, like I said, I've seen her in so many different things. And then series, which these ones were only $3 a piece when I grabbed them, but it's 6, 7, 8, and 10. I've ordered 1 through 5 and 9 just recently. So they'll be coming in, and I'll start reading this set. So that is pretty much my manga haul for today. So I can't wait. And see, this is why manga is dominating. This is why manga is dominating. So let me just tilt these to the side here. People wonder why the comic book industry is having so many problems. And I'm not going to be able to get this straight. Let's see. I think I can get this. Hang on. All right, there we go. You look at all of these titles, all of these stories, all of these characters, all of these worlds. that are in these books, the illustrations. This is why the comic book industry is suffering. This is why the next generation is going to manga. Manga is laughing. They are laughing their asses off. Just look at all of the good content that's in here. This is why the industry of manga itself is dominating. Okay, why can I not? What's going on here? There we go. This is why manga is killing it. Such a great medium. Such a great medium. All right, guys. And with that, I think we're going to go ahead and call it a stream. Let me go ahead and close it there. So, this has been a great episode. I think this is the longest yet. Almost 2 hours. Yeah, almost a 2-hour stream. But with that, guys, thank you so much for coming out, for spending your valuable time with me tonight as we talk about these things and how we ended on such a great note. Just having fun with stories. That is the big thing that I want to focus on in the future. You can see that I've got plenty of videos coming up with the manga that I showed you guys, and then a whole bunch more that I've got on my shelf. But yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for coming out today on your Saturday night and having a great time. So with it, guys, I'm going to call it a stream. That will conclude episode 13. Again, this stream is a weekly stream here on this channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so that we can get notified when I go live and when the next manga spotlight is going to be going out, or anything else that I do on this channel. I've also got other channels that I do. I have a model railroading channel. I have a endless collectibles channel, which I do a podcast over there with the Geeky Crochet. And yeah, we celebrate the good things in life, you know, things that just put a smile on our faces. But with that, guys, I'm going to call it a night. Yep, good night, everyone. Wing hugs to everyone out there. And I will see you next week.
Well,